How's it going, guys? Shape here, and welcome to the channel. This video is going to cover what I have found to be the best skinning farms right now in patch 8.3. These might not be the best for you depending on which server you are on, but currently for me these were what I had found to be the most consistent ways to farm gold right now as a skinner. These farms aren't in any particular order, and depending on the sales price they can fluctuate on which method is making you the most gold per hour, so I suggest favoring all of these items on the auction house and checking to see what is selling the best before you start your farm. So with that said, let's hop into it and find out what those methods are. Be sure to turn on your notifications, make sure you have that bell rung, and drop a like so you don't miss any of my future content. If you have any questions, drop a comment or tweet at me. Also, be sure to drop a comment on what your favorite skinning farm is. Our first farm, we're going to head over to Dagor to farm Quillrats. Once you're in Dagor, head over to this location on your map. There are going to be a couple of different spots where you want to set up, and depending on who else is out there, this will decide that for you. I want to get this one out of the way as it's a good farm, but it is insanely popular right now, and depending on your server, it might be too popular to make it worth your while. I do think it's worth mentioning, as if you can get a good hour to farm this spot, you will walk away with a pretty good profit. For this one, you will want to try it with and without war mode on and see if any of the spots are available. They are on a very fast spawn timer, and once you have killed and skinned them, they all should be back by the time that is done. I highly suggest that you use the Dark Moon Firewater Potion for this, as if you don't, you will start getting behind on the skinning since they will already be respawned and you will lose out on a lot of mobs per hour this way. If you switch to both modes and there are people camping on all spawns, then I suggest you just move on to a different method. I usually try to do this one early in the morning or late at night so I don't have to deal with too much competition. Doing this for an hour is going to net you around 5,000 coarse leather and around 1,750 bloodstained bones. Currently on my auction house, the leather is selling for 1 gold each on average, and the bloodstained bones are selling for 7 gold each. Once you do the math on that, it will be around 17,000 gold per hour. A lot will factor into this, as if others come and start doing the farm as well, or if you are thrown off in any way, then it could really affect your profit. As I said, this is a great farm if you can have time to do it, but it may not be possible for everyone. The next farm on my list is an oldie but still a good one. The farm is going to take you out to the Vale of Eternal Blossom. I have covered this one a few times in the past, and it has come down in value since we first started talking about it, but it is still a great farm. Also, it is going to be way less competitive than our first farm we mentioned. You are going to be targeting the Thunder Maw packs and grouping together as many as you possibly can in order to do this the fastest. You can use the Dark Moon Firewater Potion to skin faster, but if you are killing them fast and skinning them fast, then your timings will be off on the route. So depending on that is your choice on to use it or not. I personally don't use it here as I'm killing the packs rather quickly, and it would just be me waiting on respawn timers if I did use the potion. You should be able to do the whole loop in 4 pulls. If you try to do it in any less, it will end up leashing the mobs most likely. After an hour of farming, you will end up with around 400 questionable meat, 1600 dredged leather, and 900 bloodstained bones. Back when the leather was selling good, I was selling it on the high end for almost 20 gold per leather. We aren't that fortunate anymore, and on my server it is averaging between 5 to 6 gold per right now. The questionable meat as well as bloodstained bones have stayed pretty consistent for quite a while now. I am selling my questionable meat for anywhere from 14 to 16 gold per at the moment, and around 7 gold for the bloodstained bones. If you are seeing low prices for these, I would give it a few days, as some players will drive the price into the dirt and people will just start buying out the supply and prices will eventually go back up. I have seen this week after week doing the same pattern, so just hold off on your supply if you are seeing this. More than likely the prices will go back to normal soon. This farm will profit you around 20,000 gold per hour, or even more if you catch the market on the higher side. Overall, still a great farm to be doing and one of my favorites. Another favorite of mine is going to be for those who hate dealing with the auction house. We're going to head over to Tol Dagor. Tol Dagor can be cleared in 3 to 3.5 minutes by decently geared characters, so you will only be needing about 30 minutes to do this before you reach the lockout. If you are extremely geared, then you can do this as low as 2 minutes a run, which is what I am averaging on my Demon Hunter. If you are getting close to the 2 minutes a run, then you can possibly squeeze in 3 lockout resets into a 1 hour period. That is really when you start seeing a huge profit from this. Also, you will want to be using the Dark Moon Firewater Potion in here to make sure you are clearing as fast as possible. This farm is going to be a whole lot more consistent if you have a leather worker to make the shimmer scale strikers so you can sell them between 57 to 69 gold just to the vendor. Now this is totally going to depend on your server whether or not it is more beneficial to level up a leather worker if you don't have one. Since you were probably already a skinner, it is pretty darn cheap, and even if you don't want to farm out all the leveling mats for your leather working, just buying the mats off the auction house is fairly cheap as well. If Bloodstained Bones and Shimmer Scales are selling for more than 10 gold combined and are selling quickly, then just putting the mats on the auction house will net you the most profit. Now if your server is selling them for less than that, or you don't want to deal with the auction house, then this is where the leather working comes in. Make the Shimmer Scale strikers, sell them to the vendor along with all the other items you received during your run, and you're going to be making around 18,000 to 20,000 gold per hour, possibly more if you make a lot of blue quality items. No matter if you're selling them to the vendor or straight to the auction house, this farm is definitely one to add to your list. Our next farm is going to take us to the depths of Nadjatar. Here you're going to want to head over to this location as you're seeing on the map, and you're going to want to target the Deep Tide Frenzies. There are a few other locations in Nadjatar to do the Cragscale farm, but I have found this one to be the best out of those because all the mobs are in one place and they spawn fairly quickly. Also, there isn't really usually any competition out here either, which is a plus. These have a fairly fast respawn timer, and depending on how fast you are killing them, then they should be up soon after you are done skinning them, if not right away. Again, make sure you are using the Dark Moon Firewater Potion to speed the skinning part up. I haven't really seen anyone talking about this farm, or especially at this location, so sorry if this ruins anyone's farming spot. On my server, the Cragscale sales prices tend to bounce around. I spoke to one of my viewers and they said that they were having a pretty consistent pricing for these, so I wanted to shout them out for having me check this farm out. I have seen the price as low as 10 gold and as high as 16 gold per Cragscale on my server. This obviously is a huge swing, and you could be making almost half the profit some days rather than others. I would suggest you looking at how they are selling on your server to determine if you should invest some time into this. I must say, once you post them on the auction house, they do tend to sell fairly quickly. Let's just say I haven't had to repost any of these items yet. After an hour of farming these, you should have around 12 to 1300 Cragscales. So to keep this simple, if you manage to sell them on the high end, then you are looking at around 20,000 gold per hour. On the low end, that would be around 13,000 gold per hour, which honestly isn't really that bad at all. This can definitely be a good farm to add to your farming rotation if these are selling well on your server. The last farm I'm going to cover in this video is going to take us to Pandaland. You're going to want to head all the way up to the Isle of Giants. You are going to be killing and skinning every single dinosaur you see here, and the route is pretty simple. All you need to do is to go in one big circle around the island. These dinosaurs are going to drop giant dinosaur bones and Shaw Touch leather. You can turn 5 Shaw Touch leathers into 1 exotic leather. To speed things up and save you some gold, the Forager gloves work on these mobs since you are in Pandaria. If you are unfamiliar with these gloves, they can be obtained from the Burning Berserkers in the Timeless Isle. If you do a loop around here for a little while, you should be able to get a pair to drop. Once you have those equipped, it will cut down on all gathering resource time while in Pandaria. These are also the gloves used to cut down the surveying time if you're farming the Vial of Sands recipe. Once you have these, you can head back over to the Isle of Giants. You are also going to be on the lookout for some pets while you are farming these dinosaurs. You can make another 80 or so gold per pet if you get them to drop. Also, there is an egg that drops from the mobs as well that hatches after 3 days and has a chance to be one of 3 mounts. A little side note here is you're not going to be able to fly when you're in the Isle of Giants. This may break the method for some who want to do things faster, but before you let that get you down, just wait to hear how much gold per hour you can make from this farm. On average, the exotic leather is selling for around 5 gold per on my server, and the giant dinosaur bones are selling for around 2 gold per. After an hour of farming, you should be able to get around 200 exotic leather and around 10,000 giant dinosaur bones. Most of the profit is going to be coming from the giant dinosaur bones, as they tend to sell fairly quickly on the auction house. For the leather, you might have to keep it on the auction house for a little while, but it will eventually sell for the price you're looking for. With all that being said, you will net around 20,000 gold per hour of your time. Well, there you have it, guys, the best skinning farms right now in patch 8.3. I hope you guys enjoyed, and don't forget to let me know any other skinning farms you're currently doing that are successful. Please drop a like if you enjoyed the video to show some love for the channel, and I'll catch you guys next time.